Hey, Philly, what's up?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, what's
There we
happening?
go.
All right, you're on here with JF. I mean, eh, should I ask a question, or I mean, I guess I could.
Yeah.
Go ahead, just say what you want.
No, I was just saying figure it out because I was just watching, man. People were like,
Well, the
JF
chat
is
was
there.
was spamming me and said failure wants on, and then I actually messaged you. You said no, I was just watching, but if he'll talk to me, and of course, he was nice enough to come on. I'm not gonna just ambush him, so we actually asked him. He said that was fine. I guess one of the things he said was that you were, and I just didn't hear this clip. I'm not saying you didn't say it, but that you were trying to get him fired on Warski Live. I guess just your comments on that, and then we'll let JF give his comment.
Okay, as far as trying to get him fired, I'm sure you could probably pull up clips of me saying that.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
in the context,
And by the
but
way,
wait, hold on a second, Jeff. Can I just
Okay.
Yeah, go
add
ahead.
on to that to add
Yep.
context to it in a form of a joke? I understand, it could be taken the other way, but it's just the same thing as, go kill yourself. It can also be taken as a joke, but it could easily be spun as, oh, look, he said, go kill myself. As far as was I actively looking for you to get fired? No, if I was looking for you to get fired, would I recommend Andy to do the Purple Dragon instead of Kumite Live? No, I would tell him to fucking take over Kumite Live. Just do that. What happened was Andy came to me many a time just miserable because he felt like he was, just being pushed to the side on his own channel. He wasn't having fun and everything. I told him, why don't you just do your own streams? You just had a blast in LA with Asian Andy. Why don't you, just do some side streams? And if you feel like it's not good for your channel, go do it on another channel, make a new channel. He was starting to think of maybe, recommending one serious stream a week. You took that as, oh, well, you're firing me.
well, first, no, I did not take that as you're firing me. I told Andy that I was not willing to do one stream a week. Now, I want to clarify about my interaction with Andy the moment I quit, because I think this is misunderstood by a lot of people based on the chats I've read. When I talked about you talking about getting me fired, I do not care. I'm not even saying it's wrong. I'm not even saying I hate you for it. I don't really care. But what I care about is Andy telling me that I defamed you by quoting that sentence of you, which you did say. Now you tell me today it's a joke. I'm absolutely willing to believe you on that. I do think that the context may have justified it as a joke. Personally, the first time I heard it, I didn't feel like it was a joke, or if it was a joke, it was a joke with a bottom of truth. But I really do not care. I think it is fine. I think we are playing characters on the internet, and if your character wants me fired from Warski Live, I think it's pretty hilarious, actually. Now, that being said, the reason I was very bogus on Andy on that moment I quit is he was accusing me of misrepresenting you, which I don't think I misrepresented you.
I think what bothered him, he had people tell him, go back, check out when you left the stream. It seemed like you guys squashed everything, and this may have been another case of you were joking around, but I don't know the exact words, but you basically saying, I crushed the Kumite, failure, Tonka, I control Andy.
Yeah, let me ask you about that now. I've had some people, that's been quoted of your, from you saying that, and a lot of people said, well, you were just joking with that. Is that the case, or?
One, I was joking. Secondly, I'm very misquote on that. I said to my audience, do you see how much I control the physical fucking universe? I didn't say I control Andy. It was a joke of someone feeling empowered by a reversal of events. The reversal of events being Andy being told to fire me for a while, even if it's in joke, and me witnessing Andy saying, "Oh, now I'm gonna concentrate on Varsky Live tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm not going on the committee." That was purely a joke, and it got cited as if I'm some sort of megalomaniac. Now, yes, I am megalomaniac in some ways. My character is also megalomaniac, but that was per Benz, and it was not meant to say I control Andy. That was meant to say, look at what I can cause. In the same way, Erin, just by being beautiful and standing there, she seems to be able to cause a lot of shit in the universe. That's how I felt. I felt like I was Erin for a moment.
Now, let me ask you this, JF. I'm in contact with Tonka. Are you okay with him coming on here too? I guess. Just
sure,
to
absolutely.
Okay, all right. I'll let him know. Phil,
can I add something? I want to add one thing. I agree with you that Andy should have stayed off the Kumite for a bit and taken care of his matters. If you want, I could go back and take screenshots of DMs I had with him saying exactly that. He decided you played him as far as like, okay, now if I don't go on the Kumite the next day, then it looks like I'm in JF's hands. So I have to. That's why we did the stupid Max character, that day where he comes on and he's not coming on to talk about you. He's coming on to do his Andy thing. But the second thing I wanted to bring up is the day before, and everybody that sends you clips and everything, they're never going to send you clips of us defending you. There was a topic that came up because somebody wanted to talk about your court case. Tonka went out of his way to, state the facts, because many times it gets brought up and people just use the prosecutor's words to find you guilty.
Yeah.
So for you to be like, oh, they're just always against us, against me, I find that incorrect. I personally don't like you, but I'm not against you like you think I am.
I'm absolutely aware of Tonka defending me, and I respect him. And I've also seen Ralph Retard defend me.
I was going to ask you that if you actually
Killstream.
saw that clip.
Yeah. I mean, I look at these things very seriously, and I've never said you guys are always against me. I'm very careful with how I phrase stuff, and I don't think you'll find ever a quote of me saying that. The word always in my mouth, there's a whole part of my brain that scans, well, is it really always? And I wouldn't say these things if I wasn't sure that I've listened to everything. I'm very aware of all that. I don't have any hate for any of you.
Right.
Can I ask, have you gotten any enjoyment out of seeing Andy's numbers go down and yours go up?
Oh God, it would be hard to tell you that I'm totally indifferent. I mean, I've been watching today on Social Blade. I think that he was willing to lose these subscribers, so
it was inevitable.
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
But
I think
and the reality is subscribers don't mean that much today.
Yeah.
Not for me, not for the type of shows we do, not for the super chat economy. Subscribers are from a past of YouTube.
I would agree with that too as well.
Let me ask you, would you be opposed to working with him again in the future?
Oh God. Oh my God. I wouldn't be opposed radically, but I still have my standards, and there is so much to be repaired before we could get there that I would say that there's a distance to cross there that I don't see being crossable in the short term.
All right, let me
write some shit down next time.
let me let Zidane get his point in, then we're gonna drag Tonka Saw over. Yeah, go ahead.
Tonka's here. That's what I was going to say.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
he's he's in here now. What's up, Tonka? I think you might have to do what Failure did because we can't hear you.
No, I think there is. I think he's moving his mic around.
Oh wait, we can hear you now. We can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah, what's up, man?
I missed like the past minute and a half. Past minute and a half.
Well, Failure asked about would he be willing to work with Andy again, and JF said there's a lot of ground to cover. I don't think so in the short term, just because there's so much makeup to do basically. And then before that, Failure asked had he taken any pleasure out of seeing Andy's numbers go down and his go up? And he was honest and said, well, it'd be hard not to at least take some pleasure out of that. So I think that covers about the last minute and a half.
Also said that I have 0-8 for failure, Ralph Retort, and you, Tonka.
Yeah.
You may have 0 hate for me, but you've said some things about me that just do not ring true, in the least. There's never been even a time in joking where I said that I was trying to get rid of you. And that may hold true for failure, that he said these things in jokes. I didn't even say it in jokes.
The problem is, Andy, when he phrased that sentence of mine, he forgot the last part of the sentence.
About Andy's phrasing. I'm talking about your phrasing.
Okay, well, my phrasing, let's review it. It is, Tonkasa and failure have been engaged for the past weeks into trying to fire me or questioning the emotional relationship between me and you. And so the or is important here. That means none of the actors have committed both action, or else I would say and. And so what I was trying to say is that Tonka, that failure has been requesting firing, whether it was in joke or not, and that you have been questioning the emotional relationship between me and Andy, or my emotional some sort of well-being, or my emotional state.
You and Andy has nothing to do with emotional state. That's dumb and gay to care about what two grown men have to do with their emotional relationships. My concern was with your business relationship, and that you two weren't taking care of business. Which is why that day I told Andy to get off of the call and go talk to you then.
Well, I was simply quoting. You were talking about my emotional state when interacting with Andy. You did comment
your emotional
on
connections. I don't know. I said you were being emotional, just like I said he's being emotional.
Exactly.
But my complaint was with how you handle business.
I was referring to.
Okay, well, I'm talking about how you handle business.
Yeah, you can talk about whatever you want, but as far as my interaction with Andy went when I quit, he was accusing me of misrepresenting you. Do you think I misrepresent you when I say Tonkasa has commented on my emotional state when I was interacting with Andy?
I think you were inaccurate when you said that I was commenting on your emotional relationship with Andy. I don't give a fuck about your emotional relationship with Andy. I'm talking about your business.
Okay, I used the word relationship, and you agree that you commented on my emotional state.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I meant. I wasn't arguing Tonka is wrong to talk about these things. I was simply telling Andy, no, I have not defamed Tonka by reporting that he did talk about these things.
Here's the other thing. I've never went at you. If anything, I probably ended up in the corner of having to defend you way fucking more. You're not my buddy. You're not somebody who I've even spent a stupid amount of time with. But I end up in the corner of having to defend you a lot more than I end up having to say anything about you. I've said one thing about you 4 or 5 times.
I acknowledge that. What's the problem?
If I can't just make one thing that is a ridiculously mild criticism without everybody blowing up, that's you, that's Andy. I talked to Andy about it earlier today. I'm talking to you about it now. Fucking goofy about this shit. My main complaint about you is that I thought that you were smarter than the reaction that you gave to Ralph. Than the action that you did. That's what kicked all this off, is that I thought that you were smarter than an action that you took.
Well, I've heard you say that a lot because I listen to the streams. On that, all I have to say is you cannot compel me to display intelligence when you want. I display intelligence when I want. I'm entertaining when I want. I'm fascistic when I want. And I decided to be fascistic that night. And
you were a terrible employee, and that's how this got to where it got.
Well, there are premises in the way you're talking to me right now. You're assuming that I didn't want to get here.
You wanted to get fired.
Place. It's not something I didn't want. It's not something I didn't want.
But was it your goal, yes or no?
Goal is a very strong word because I think of the world in terms of kind of multi-dimensional possibilities. And the question is, will I be fired at some point? Yes. And so let's make it spectacular.
Didn't do it now. That seems
if
really
it's gonna
dumb.
happen.
You're not that fucking dumb. Hey, you got surprised by it. Admit that you didn't see it coming. Can you admit that?
What?
You saw what was going to happen. When you looked down, just like you said with Cog, you realized what was going to happen then.
No,
Not beforehand. You're not Miss Cleo, man.
Wait. There's a difference between surprise and being unable to deploy the response. I was partly surprised that it was happening at that moment, but given that Andy had canceled my guess, I've said it on the stream when I quit. On my stream, I said it. I had a good feeling that there was not much that Andy had to tell me for me to quit. And so I knew that it was a very likely possibility entering the stream. When you see my face going down, it's me realizing that, yes, this possibility that Andy is done with me is evoked. And I'm like, okay, it's over. I realize it's over because I know Andy has convinced himself of a belief about me, which I will not want to debunk. I will not want to dance and fight with Andy, because at that moment I understand that the relationship between us is over, and I have no interest in staying on the stream anymore. I have no interest in the success of Warski Live. And so I say, bye-bye, Andy. I think it's over between us two.
I caught that part where the moment of retaliation, everybody forces everybody's hand. Everybody's playing chicken and posturing with each other to get to where they're getting. I get that part. Who are not retards. Neither of you are fucking retarded. To where you do things so foolishly, behave so fucking dumb. Both of you, not just you, both of you. It was very dumb for it to get to where it got. The fact that neither of you sat down a week, a month before and said, hey, all right, this is this and this and this. The fact that everything about your business, everything from Queen of Bant's booking stuff to everything, it was all done on air to do anything backstage. And it's not like it's a fun show in the morning like we do. This is what you two pay your bills with. And neither of you could be fucked enough to be responsible to look and see what you're fucking doing. Fix what's going down.
I don't think...
That was my issue.
I don't see the world that way. I look at everything we've done in public. I think it was genius. I think that's what reality TV does often. It's like, not only will you be the winner of a prize, we're going to make the whole process of you winning that prize a subject of episodes after episodes after episodes. And if you want to maximize viewership and if you want to succeed in the YouTube business right now, it's not bad to integrate good knowledge that was acquired from 20 years of reality TV. And so, yeah, if I have a conflict with Andy, it's monetizable. I will monetize it. Unless Andy told me in private, I don't want this or this or this to be monetized. He told me nothing of the sort. And so I went full monetization.
You don't think that goes in the face of what you said a minute ago?
What did I say a minute ago?
When you say that, all right, you see all this coming, and then you're like, well, it's kind of a surprise. And then before I even got on here, you were talking about how it's fun while it lasted. You're now talking like you're directly okay with it being sabotaged. Like you're just okay with watching it unwind in front of you. Just watching a rope untie.
Absolutely. You can be surprised by reality even if you expect it, or even if you decide that this reality will play out in the public space.
If you wanna look at it that way, I'm not gonna end up changing your mind. I'll tell you this. You're wrong. And the fact that you can't be humble about anything, that's gonna fuck you in the end.
Maybe it will.
No, not maybe it will. It will, JF. It's not a maybe.
I've not been.
I know that you see things in the future. I'll throw it out to you. I see this in the future. You not being humble has fucked you over and over. It's gonna do it again.
Maybe it will.
That what you will.
It's not been fucking me tonight, and it's not been fucking me yesterday. And my social blade has not been fucked. So I'm doing good.
How many did you gain on a Social Blade after being on a channel with 200 and something thousand subs? How many did you gain?
I don't know, maybe 3,000,
Look at the
maybe
Social Blade.
10,000.
3,000.
I don't care.
3,000.
3,000 people.
Social Blade,
is all
because
you
that's
need.
not a win. You walk into a room with 200 and something thousand people, a ridiculously small percentage, give a fuck.
I don't care.
Then don't bring it up.
I don't need 200,000 subscriber. 3,000 subscriber and 3,000 people who actually watch my show is enough to give me a six-figure salary in the year. How could I care about getting more when I'm demonetized?
Monetized?
What?
Monetized? You said you're demonetized.
Yeah, but most of my videos are demonetized. So what funds
Super
my
Chat's
life?
where it's coming from, so that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't even matter.
Exactly. That's what I'm telling you. The super chat being my business model, I can live off a 3,000 crowd that's really motivated into listening to me. I'm very happy if I get more, but I'm not a YouTuber who's looking for millions of subs. I don't care.
That's a fine stance. That's just not really a big point on, well, look at Social Blade, I'm doing well. Well, then you said you don't care about it, then why do you care about it?
Well, because you said that it would fuck me in the future. I would like to know by what
Not being humble
mechanism.
will absolutely fuck you in the future. Like it fucked you with the drunken peasants. Like it fucks you when you get on Twitter and you end up in interactions that you can't finish. And just like it fucked you in this situation. You can pretend it didn't fuck you in this situation, but you would still be doing the whole thing had it not got brought up. Had you not been so I don't know. Both of you so egotistically stupid that you can't fucking put things together and do business.
Well, you assume that I want that. Is being not humble fucking me. It didn't fuck Donald Trump, and it won't fuck me.
Trump, JF. The day before this shit was happening, you had a completely different view of it. The day it goes down, now all of a sudden you saw it coming, and it was your grand plan. It wasn't your plan. You didn't see this coming. Yeah.
Are you implying that I couldn't picture myself at every point in that time, knowing that one day it would break between me and Andy?
I'm implying you
everyone knew it.
I'm implying you can't see the future. That's it.
Even in YouTube comments, you see it, and people say, "I knew it would happen." So of course, I knew it would happen. And I'm a guy who thinks a lot of steps in advance, and so it doesn't take much for me to detect the end and finish it.
And I'll move over to this thing here. It's a clip from when people brought up what I said to you. It won't be played over things, but I'm sure you're familiar with the clip where you said that I was trying to talk Andy into not being on the show with you.
Well, can you play that segment? Because I don't think it's how I phrased it.
Well, look up JF addresses Tonka saw controversy or whatever dumb name.
Okay, I can find the clip. I think is that the name of it?
If addresses Tonka should be enough. That should be enough. It's like controversy or some dumb shit like that.
Okay, let me. I think this is the exact clip that I played when you were on the other day. Actually,
that was the one that you played for me. And I was like, wow, that was an entire minute of someone just making shit up.
I think that was the clip. Let me. We do have several super chats, but I'll read this one because I think this is something some Kumite fans, brought up. By the way, I do want to thank JF for coming on. I do appreciate that. I really didn't think you would come on, man. So I got to give you credit for that. And
I was actually sleeping. I'm in my robe and I was sleeping, but I had my earphones on and I said, "Oh, let's see what Ralph returned."
I've seen you in the chat several times. It does seem like you listen to the show, so I do appreciate you coming on. I really do. This was a super chat from Mike Seppi. He said, "For your information, JF used to rip into the Kumite every chance he got. Used to call it trash and low IQ.
I don't care about that.
No, but I'm just asking him, like,
at all time, nobody cares.
What would be your thoughts on that? By the way, I found the clip and I'll pull that up too. But I guess just."
Yeah, they're shitting on the committee. I mean, it was part of the band's game to me. I have no true hate inside of me. I have a different product, so why not insult the other product, since this is all about bensing and people brag about everyone should take the bends. Well, all right, let's do some bends.
All right, cool. By the way, if you look in the lounge chat on Discord, which all the creators category, they're in there, and that includes, I believe, everybody on the stream, so creators and admins. You can see the clip that I'm about to play. So if you wanna pull that up, feel free. It's
How do I do that?
So if you look in the Discord, there's several different rooms. If you see a room called the lounge,
Okay.
it's in there. That's the clip I'm about to play. JF addresses Tonka controversy. Do you see it?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and pull it up really quick. I'll wait on you. I'll just make sure you guys got it pulled up. 'Cause it's fairly important. You got it pulled up, JF?
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and play it right now.
Hey, JF, any further comment on Tonka controversy? Well, what do you mean, Tonka controversy? Do you mean that he's been acting like a female for the last 24 hours? Going close to Andy and saying, Master Andy, I will suck your dick if you fire JF. I would like us two to be together, Andy. JF is not a good influence for you. Please do something about it. Let me not incite you to fire him directly, but let me insinuate that maybe your relationship is not based around the right stuff. Maybe JF is too emotional. If that's the Tonka controversy,
it was
that's not
a
what
good
I call
act of satire there.
That's
I
what I
even
call it.
exaggerated it by saying, "Let me suck your dick I will suck your dick if you fire Jeff." And so it was clear from the movements that I was doing with my hand. I was playing the end rubbing pause, and I was exaggerating. This was
the same thing that you had a moan at failure about doing, is that you said that was joke. What's funny about failure is that it actually had a joke within context, whereas you're just making up a bunch of shit that no one ever said.
Well, in satire, you can make an impersonation, and you can exaggerate. If you get it,
I think that you just got dumb information and thought you knew something you didn't know. That you just assumed that I said something. Because I didn't say anything close to what you're talking about. Not even.
But Tankasa, answer to my question. Do you actually believe that I believe that you were going to actually suck Andy's dick if he was firing me?
Do you actually believe that I said anything remotely close to you should fire JF?
No, you're escaping my question right now. Do you believe that I actually believe that you were actually going to suck Andy's dick?
Do you believe that I actually said anything remotely close to anything you said in that clip?
So you're refusing to engage with my question. It's very low in my view.
No. Well, you can view it as low. I view it as low when people misrepresent people.
All right. So it seems that you have a difficulty in understanding satire and understanding.
Well, not a difficulty in understanding satire. To satirize something, you have to bring it from something. You have to bring the satire from something. So are you saying that you're just manufacturing up something here?
Oh, no. It was a satire of you actually talking to Andy on that stream that day on the committee and questioning my emotional state when I interact with him.
I said you two were emotional, and that you shouldn't be emotional.
Yeah, and I played a satirical exaggeration of that, in which I claim that, in which I represent you as wanting to suck Andy's dicks. How can satire be clearer than that?
Probably if it's done by somebody better than you. So everything you said there is just bullshit, right?
No, it is not. It is satire.
Okay, so nothing. Okay, so bullshit then. Not true. It's just satire. You're just fucking around, right? Nothing there?
No, because in satire, you can also insert elements of the truth so that people
Exactly, and that's what I was saying you were doing a minute ago. So where's the element of truth? Scary.
The element of truth is that you did talk to Andy about my emotional state when I'm with him or in my interaction with him. That was the element.
So this minute clip that you've got here The last 3 seconds were satire when you mentioned emotions. The very last sentence you said, where you're sitting there crying the entire time, oh, he wants me off the show. That's not the satire. You're just fucking around there. The element of truth is that one line where he said, I'm emotional.
Absolutely. The element of truth arrives at around 45 seconds in that clip. And the first
Just
45 seconds
having a moment.
is me satiring you with clear signs that I am doing satire, such as end rubbing and claiming that you will suck Andy's dick.
And so that means that everything you said, what was it? The post that somebody sent me on Twitter that emotional over something that happened with me and Andy over a kick or something. I don't even remember the fucking tweet you put on. It was just dumb, so I ignored it.
I do remember that one. It was when I tweeted, I said, when failure is not there to make sure that I'm fired, you can be sure that Tonka will be replacing him.
More satire?
Something like that. Oh, it was Ben's. But it was a pointing
Either
to the
Bance.
fact
You had me blocked by the time that you wrote that, so I couldn't see that Bance. That's not Bance. That's you putting something out to people.
Okay, Ben's targeted at the audience. It was jokes targeted at
Posturing,
the audience.
then. Posturing.
Posturing, yeah. Okay, that's a good word.
Bance. It was posturing to an audience, trying to pretend that something was said that wasn't said.
No. It was not with the goal of misrepresenting you.
It wasn't.
With the goal
But
of
everybody's
acknowledging-
misrepresenting everyone except for you. If anybody says anything else, everyone's misrepresenting someone except you.
No, you can claim that you feel misrepresented by this tweet. I don't think it does any sort of damage, personally. And so I'm telling you, I did not intend to misrepresent you in this tweet or in this passage in this 1 minute clip.
You absolutely do intend on misrepresenting people. That's the game you play.
You don't know anything about my intentions. You have no idea.
Anything about my intentions. And if you did, then you would be smart enough to have sat down, shut up, and realized that somebody was trying to help you keep your fucking spot.
I don't care about keeping my spots first.
Now you don't. You did 2 days ago when you started crying about it.
I don't make claims about your intentions tonight. I'm just saying you are making
I'll tell you
claims
my
about my
intentions.
intentions.
I'm not you, JF. I'll tell you my intentions. My intentions were to come in and tell you to quit being such a fucking schmuck. That's my intention.
And I'm not interested in that kind of tip.
Don't take the tip. Go be goofy some more. Go fuck up some more stuff for yourself. Good job.
I'm not fucking up right now.
You fuck up plenty. You don't cry when you do the right thing, JF. That's why you were crying over it.
You think I'm crying? You think I'm crying out of regret? I'm not.
It's happy tears, JF. Happy tears.
No, they're not happy tears. I cry.
Okay, then you're not crying because you're happy, brainchild. This is the dumb shit you say and do, and you think that it works because you're like high IQ, French accent. Nobody cares, JF.
Okay, well,
you're fucking up.
Nobody cares.
You're fucking up.
Why is the viewer count increasing by 50% since I'm here? Why are you
Nobody
here?
cares about the I didn't say nobody cares about what's being talked about right now. That's not what I said. To be so fucking high IQ, you really don't catch on to shit very well, do you, JF? On to the fact that if you're so fucking high IQ, why you fuck over you? Why you fucking go around and talk about your boss, the guy who signs your checks? That's not very high IQ. That's pretty fucking dumb.
I think it was genius. But we can disagree on that. As far as my tears go, can I explain to you why I cried on that stream?
Yeah, go ahead.
I cried because I cry in important moments of my life. I find transitions beautiful and moving. I cry at movies. I cry at love stories. I cry when my girlfriends leave me. And I cry when Andy does stupid shit, or that was 2 weeks ago. Or when
that sounds like nothing positive, JF. Your girlfriend's leaving you? What? That's not positives.
Well, it's not always negative. My girlfriend's leaving. I see these as opportunities for building a new life, and I see my separation from Andy as an opportunity to create great stuff.
Did you use Andy?
Well, everyone uses everyone, so yes, I used Andy in the same way that any business partner uses his business partners.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just hanging back, like letting you guys talk. To be honest,
Business. In business, I'm not fucking mad at people who fucking use each. It's business. That's why all this emotion shit is gay as fuck. Supposed to be so fucking smart, but you can't sit down and do business.
It's so fascinating to see someone say that emotions are gay while being emotional in his pronunciation of the
Business
sentence.
are very gay, and it's how you fuck up a business. If you think anything other than that, then you're even dumber than I thought.
So let me ask you this, Tonka. What would have been your prescription? I think you talked about this a little bit in the commentary, but
Fucking Andy to hop off about 3 days ago and jump off and talk to him. Even better prescription, if I had some fucking hindsight on this and knew all that was happening, talk a fucking month ago.
Why would we talk?
I was under the assumption that you weren't retarded, JF. I have switched that.
Why would we talk? Why would we care about staying together?
You dumb fuck. You have a business. Do you know what a business is? Have you ever ran a business, JF?
I run businesses, but
life.
I don't have a business with Andy at this moment. I have my business.
You did 2 days ago. You did 2 days ago until you freaked the fuck out, did some stupid shit, and then ended up crying on a stream. You did have a business. You don't now. That's why you're an idiot.
I did a business transaction.
A business transaction? You're not in a business anymore. You just said you're not in a business anymore. Business transact. That's not what a transaction means. How dumb are you?
Well, sometimes you can sell the business or you can exchange it for something else.
You didn't sell shit.
Yeah, I sold. I sold my shares in Warsky Live for
You didn't have any shares in Warsky Live. Why are you so stupid?
No, but if you want to present this as me being part of the business, if you want to continue that metaphor, but yeah, you're right. Technically, I was an employee. I'm not an employee anymore because I saw other opportunities that were interesting.
Employee anymore because he was going to fire you, and you quit before he fired you. That's why you're not an employee anymore.
Nice. Okay, so what?
I think you did a shit move in the sense that Andy didn't look to screw you over in this business. He was looking to, if anything, keep you at the same pay, just move you into a position where you would just be doing the serious things one time a week. If he wanted to, he could have just gotten rid of you, but his position was, I just want to minimize the, politics talk.
Yeah, and I was always clear to Andy about what I was willing to do, what I was not willing to do. And one time a week for me, I was not willing to do it because I need to develop an emotional connection with my fan base. And once a week is not enough. I want people to come to their computer and say, I'd like to know what
Run shows on your channel.
Yeah, this is exactly what I done.
Just run the shows on your channel. Be happy, JF. You're a fucking idiot.
This tip is what I've been implementing, and this is where I'm at. I'm happy to be doing that on my channel right now.
I can say more to him. I'm good. He's just fucking dumb.
So, I guess I'll play the host here probably. I'm kind of just hanging back and letting you guys talk. I guess let me think if I can formulate this right. I'm not trying to sing bias or anything, but I guess I'll ask Jeff. Do you think there's anything to what Tonka's saying, or is it just? You call what he was saying emotional. Do you think there's anything here, or it's just you're in a better place now and it's all good and you don't really care, or it's not a big deal? Yeah.
I certainly don't care. I've been making this clear, but I think that Tonka is, and I've heard yourself, Tonka, do that metaphor. I will use it from you. It's the guy who jumps in the ring in a WWE match and thinks that it's real. I don't even know if you're trolling, Tonka.
For you.
Yeah, but I'm using it for you today. I don't even know if you're trolling, Tonka.
Okay, so this isn't real then, JF. You're not really on another channel. You weren't really about to get fired. You didn't really quit. You didn't really cry. You didn't really get into this dumb shit. This is all fake.
It's the
In a
assumption
week.
that
Hit me up
that
in a
this
week
was
and let me
done
know the kayfabe, brother. Hit me up in a week and let me know the kayfabe. No worry.
All right. The kayfabe is there was a history on the internet. The story of me and Andy Warski. It deployed itself into reality with whatever we had as a brain to be able to pull in terms of what we could
Feelings,
act.
motherfucker.
Okay.
It's about
feelings.
your job. That's retarded, bruh.
But you seem to be caring about my job more than me.
Fun of how fucking goofy you are. I can't believe that. I don't know. I thought you were much smarter than you were, and then I listened to you explain the situation, and it becomes clear you're fucking retarded, JF.
Okay.
You're a fucking idiot.
But I really don't understand why I'm retarded at the level of pay that
And
I do.
that's the horrible curse of being a fucking retard.
Okay. How is a retard making as much money as me?
And you might want to go ask all the other retards who make plenty of fucking money. Are you really going to measure how retarded you are by the amount of money you make?
Well, I will say that whatever it
Go ahead
is
and
that
shoot us.
allows me,
What's your money being a retard? Is that who you want to be?
I will say that I'm.
I thought you were about
that
high
I'm-
IQ, buddy. I didn't know you were a dumb whore.
I'm a whore. I'm not dumb.
Oh, you're dumb as fuck. I've listened to you. You're a dumb whore.
Okay. That's your opinion, man.
That's a fact. I've listened to you. It's fact life, bud.
Now let me ask this to be a possible peacemaker here. You know, I'm reading the chat. Is there any way to get you guys on the same page, or agree to disagree? Or
JF's friend. I don't hate him. I think he's dumb. I think he's making very dumb moves. And he thinks it's all a work. Okay, fine. Hit me up in a week. Tell me how much of a fucking work it is. Best of luck to you, champ.
What about you, JF?
Well, I just denied the premises under which Tonka is working. At the level of me and Andy, we can afford breakups. We can afford all sorts of stuff. It's funny. Just
You realize
take
you
pleasure
are
in it.
dudes, right? Like you are two guys in a business. You're not fucking. You don't need safe words and relationships and emotional connections.
But
Party,
it was
JF.
freaking funny. It was funny to pull up the
It was so
pineapple
funny it
stuff.
broke you into tears, wasn't it? Into fucking
Yeah.
tears.
Tears
All
is also a good production element. I want my audience to laugh sometimes and to cry sometimes. And 2 days ago, they cried with me. Or
Well,
yesterday.
Cried
was
with
it
you, you
yesterday?
dumbass. You cried. People laughed. Nobody cried with you.
Well, if some laughed, that's fine. But I can tell you that there were
All
people
laughed,
in the chat
JF.
saying,
Nobody
"I'm
cried with you.
crying."
Real quick, if you cried with JF in the chat, press 1. If you sat down and had a cry with JF. And
At the moment I
What the
cried,
fuck?
who in this chat has cried with me? Maybe just a little bit or felt a little bit.
come on, guys, press 1. He needs people to confirm that they cried with him. Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, we need a
This
lot
is
of
what you need
tissues,
to
apparently.
understand, Tonka. There's been people crying to movies and reality TV for decades.
Call them pussies.
So,
No.
so they're pussy for crying?
It's not real? By your own admission? Yeah, champ.
Oh, the tears were real.
Okay, so now the tears are real, but they're real over a not real situation?
Jesus
Absolutely.
fucking Christ. We went from Fight Club to Cry Club.
Let me.
No, that's the problem with you, JF. You turn blood sports into the gayest shit in the world. Cry about it. And I've got
actually-
emotional connections. Dude, you're
Actually,
fucking lame.
I'm gonna take this as a compliment. If I turn something into the gayest shit in the world, and I'm
Yours
not,
were gay. That's why
I think
everybody
it's great.
kept calling you hug sports and cry sports and a pussy. Because you kind of are.
I'm not ashamed by anything I've done, and if you want to call it gay, I find it quite hilarious.
Now, let me
Good.
ask you this. I don't know if this is off topic or not, but the whole pineapple thing. I mean, was that just like a comedy bit? Kind of. That's kind of how I took it, or was that like a serious
Actually real.
gambit?
I mean, of course it was.
It's so hard because everything we've done, me and Andy, is at the edge of fiction and reality.
Right.
So of course, we did realize that we needed to do something, and the idea of a safe word, of course, emerges naturally in the mind. But of course, we overplayed it, and we made it a pineapple, and it's funny. But yeah, I would say there was a true need for us to have a stop word, but we ended up turning it into a meme. And it's fine. I don't categorize everything as fiction or non-fiction when I work or when I live. I think that a lot of our personal lives, for example, are sorts of fiction. We display fake emotions to test others. We display love to our pets to show to our partner, look, I can care for a little thing. So I think that the boundary between fiction and non-fiction is less clear than most people would think.
By the way, I have seen several pineapples in the chat tonight. So
Dave needs some pineapple. Right.
I'll point that out. So somebody, this is just a random comment that I happen to see going by. They're going really fast, so of course I can't read them all. And I haven't stopped it for super chats. I do appreciate the support. Don't get me wrong, but I kind of just letting this flow without interrupting. Except every once in a while, I guess, just to justify my presence. At all. The comment that I saw go by though, JF, and I'll let you guys continue if you want to go further after this. Do you have any regrets about the situation in general, about you leaving Andy's show, or about your guys' current personal relationship?
No, I think that the tweet by Andy, I would say exactly the same words. I regret nothing. Now, I'm not a man of regret. I regret nothing in my entire life. But especially with Andy, I don't regret a single second.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, that was just my contribution. I mean, you got any more points you want to hit on, Tonka or JF? I mean, do you have anything you want to say to Tonka? I mean, he's kind of been on the offense with his stuff. Did you have any points that you wanted to bring up?
I mean, I'm at peace with everything Bloodsports. I blocked you guys temporarily for just setting my life and doing my own show. I don't want to be involved in back and forths with the Bloodsport community for a couple of weeks. I will unblock you guys at some point. And
you don't have to unblock me. I don't give a fuck.
I know, I don't have to. But it's just so you know, it is not done with any hate, and I don't leave with any hate about you guys.
Okay.
And I'm totally fine with all of our interaction. I think it's a very special space that we've created on the internet, a space that mixes fiction and actual emotions, and I've loved every moment of it.
Good.
And I do thank you for coming on. I really didn't expect it. Somebody commented, I've been catching a lot of heat from your partisans and stuff. I feel like I've been, obviously we had our, friction or whatever, but I've tried to put out all sides of the issue, especially, your side of the issue. Trying to have callers on that they're taking up your cause and stuff. I don't want it to seem like an attack. I want to, bring out everything. But somebody said yesterday, they said, why don't you have JF on? And I said, I would love to have him on, but I don't think he'll come on. That's what I said in the comments. And you proved me wrong, I got to say.
Yeah,
so
it's cool. It's cool.
I mean, it was true.
Good.
You were correct. I wouldn't have come yesterday, and I guess I just needed to have the decision myself to come into the chat and do it myself. But I didn't need much time. I just needed to kind of be empowered by saying, okay, I'm going to go talk to Raf.
Yeah, I do appreciate that, man. I really do.
And to all my fans who are clashing in the communities, because I hear that some of my fans are defending me. I really appreciate that you guys are defending me, but never forget to be respectful. And I know that I can recognize a JF fan even just by the writing and the way you argue. And I'm very proud that you're arguing, but don't forget to be respectful of others. And I don't appeal to any clash and any toxicity in all communities. Let's be respectful and let's make an image for ourselves in the various communities of the internet.
Did we not learn from Baked Alaska? Don't use the toxic word. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ, Baked Gariépy, you're killing me.
Why am I kidding you?
Ixnay with the toxic A.
Ixnay
Well,
with pretty much
personally-
everything you just said, Nate, except for the nice things to your fans and about it. That's
No, you guys have been bashing Alaska for the word toxicity. Personally, I use that word proudly.
Word.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, you
I will
guys
say that Bake did kind of like I've used the word before too, but now when I'm close to using it or I'm thinking about like, oh wait, I don't want to use that. I do understand that that thing. I guess I mean this is completely off subject, but one of the we kind of got big off Baked Alaska. Let's just be honest. I mean that's just a fact of life. We were getting 100 to 200 viewers. And now, we're getting around 1,000 or 1,000 plus, and it's directly, there's a direct line from Baked Alaska's implosion to that result. So, I guess one of the videos that we play a lot though is the R.I.P. Baked Alaska song because it's fucking hilarious. So we play it a lot. And in that video, you say R.I.P. Baked Alaska. Basically, you're saying, he's done. Fuck this guy. You seem to have kind of moderated your views on that since, or have you? I guess is the question.
No, Baked Alaska has always been on my blacklist, and I've been interacting with him simply because I was co-host of Warski Live. I've always found he was a piece of shit. And from the very first email he sent me, before I even knew he was a YouTuber, he invited me on Fighting Destiny on his channel, and he had baited me by getting Destiny to say false stuff about me on his channel. And then he was like, "Hey, why don't you come fight the defamation of Destiny?" And I found that this was very disrespectful, that it was a form of extortion through defamation. And in my head, at that point, I had barred Baked Alaska. However, I've accepted to talk to him because I was working with Andy.
Okay, fair.
But I was making sure that I was as insulting as possible, and I was always making jokes about him and telling him he looked gay and that his beard, he was too feminine for his own beard.
I mean, your R.I.P. like the song actually. I mean, the song's called R.I.P. Baked Alaska. The last line is you saying R.I.P. Baked Alaska. So I figured I would just ask you about that.
I actually didn't listen to the song.
Oh, you haven't heard it? Oh, you need to hear it. It's really good. Go ahead.
I'm surprised that he hasn't popped up with you and Andy fucking arguing. This would have been like an opportune time for him to pop up again.
Yeah, I think
there was gonna be one. Yeah.
he seems to be, since his prayer streams or whatever last week. I think maybe somebody got in his ear and said maybe you need to lay low a little bit, which was good advice if that did occur. But somebody in chat commented me on my hosting skills tonight. Well, I try. By the way, if you've enjoyed this show, please go ahead and give us a thumbs up. We try to let everybody say their piece and just kind of, if not resolve everything, just get all the differing views out there. So
at least finally, for the first time in a good long while, it's official. There's finally no more crying in blood sports.
Oh well, will I be still in the blood sports community?
Indeed.
Because I do plan to make debates. Will I still be considered
Please
blood
do.
sports?
Just don't cry over them, motherfucker. Just don't cry over them. Do all of us a favor.
I will keep crying.
Blubber like a bitch. Nobody can go for it.
I stand by my crying. I'm an emotional man.
Cry, he said. God damn.
Are
What do
you
you not stand by that you've done in your life, JF? Out of curiosity.
Oh, I stand by every single moment.
Single thing?
Everything. I have no regret. I have never committed any form of unethical actions. I have apologized when I was wrong. I have corrected myself.
That sounds like you didn't stand by everything since you apologized. So okay, I was just curious if you were ever wrong. Go ahead.
No, sometimes you can apologize because you've misrepresented someone, but it wasn't intentional. And to the extent that you actually believed in your belief, well, you didn't intend to defame.
Since you stomped on the mundane Matt topic, when are you and Matt gonna have a cry off? Good old cry off.
I need you and Mundane Matt, one-on-one. Who cries the best tears?
I think my tears feel a little more human than mundane.
You got a little more weight in your tears.
You're a real human being. Jeff's a real human being.
By the way, me and Jeff had zero contact, like whatsoever, none. But he actually shared the video that I made on Monday, Matt, like making fun of his verification quest on Twitter, which I thought was funny. So I do appreciate that share. That was before we ever talked to each other, like ever.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thank you for that. So, somebody, this is just a random comment. Again, I'm catching stuff just off the fly. Could you ask JF, could he explain how what has happened over the past month isn't sabotage? I guess there is a large strain that, and I've talked about this on the show before. Somebody, not just somebody, but a few people DM me. I don't know if they're fans of yours or just don't like Andy or don't like me even. And they'll say, "Wow, Ralph, you must be angling for that Worski Live co-hosting job." And there's another strain of thought that says, failure is trying to get your job, or it was a Kumite conspiracy.
I'll say this much, JF. I wouldn't be able to replace you in fucking the Worski Live fucking scene. So I don't know why you thought I was fucking aiming for that job.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to ask him. I don't know if do you actually think that? Do you think there was some type of conspiracy? And I'll say from my point of view, no, I wasn't angling.
I don't seriously think it. I don't seriously think that there was a strategic attempt at replacing me. Like someone thinking that he may be the co-host, actively trying to do so and taking action for it. I do think that some of the discussions that you guys had with Andy had effectively that effect. But I don't think that it's a big conspiracy or strategy. I think it's just that you guys are social beings, and I was seeing you guys. It seems that you guys are interacting on these live streams with him like I've never seen since high school. I mean, people bickering and people talking about each other and talking about what others should do. This is something I've not been engaging since high school. And that I think had the effect of a conspiracy, but I don't think it was an intentional,
like an organized conspiracy. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of Scrub taking your seat?
Did he? I don't know. I don't know who Scrub is. I've heard of him reading super chats. I have no thoughts about him right now. I don't know who he is.
Let me ask you this. This is something I talked about on the show, since yesterday, since you're no longer on Worski Live, and maybe you don't feel comfortable delving into this. I'm not sure, but my suggestion was to replace you with somebody who would represent the same fan base, or at least for the most part. And if I was, if you had your druthers, to use a Southern term, you would not only want somebody to represent that same crowd, you would want somebody even more well known than you. You know what I mean? You would try to go as big as possible to placate the people that are pissed, right? At least that's my theory. Now, what would be your theory for what Andy should do here? Should he? There's another school of thought that says maybe he should tack more towards the middle. I know the quartering said if he got more centrist, maybe he could do more things in terms of mainstreamability with the show. I kind of reject that school of thought. I think he should try to get somebody in, maybe not your exact mold, but somebody to represent that audience. What would your thoughts on that be?
I like these theories. All of these are valid speculations, but there are problems with each. So first, replacing me with an alt-writer. The problems that Andy had with me result from the fact that I represented the alt-right's concern on the show. And so anyone who would be a good alt-writer replacing me and being able to keep the kind of base that I kept will be bashing Andy in the same way I do. Because he would have to defend Cantwell. He would have to put intellectual shows on the schedule. And so replacing with an alt-writer is faced with the problem that if Andy had a problem with me, he's going to have a problem with any good alt-writer. Or he's going to find an alt-writer who's too soft and then I'm gonna pound this soft alt-righter. I'm gonna drain all of the viewers from him because no one will want to listen to him. He's gonna be too cocked, and so Warski Live will find himself trying to pause as alt-right, and paying the price of it, being called Nazis on all of the right-wing watch stuff and other Jewish publications, and yet not being able to draw the audience that's alt-right because the co-host would be too cocked and would be submitted to Andy.
By cocked and submitted to Andy, do you mean someone who recognizes that it's not their channel?
No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is that you would not bring the worries of the alt-right crowd to Andy the way I did when I did the Warski Slendered Cantwell video.
What you were saying...
If I don't do this video, there's a bunch of alt-righters pissed at us and calling me a cock.
Okay, well, that's a you problem. That's not actually the reason why Andy got rid of you, and he's been abundantly clear. Even I've been able to pick up onto it, and we all know our boy stutters quite a bit. It's because you didn't respect his position on his channel.
All right, that's your interpretation, and it's fine.
No, that's what he said. You can look at the actions, the way everything played out, and it seemed that that's when everything took the spin.
All right. Well, I don't really care why. I don't really care why he was not interested in continuing.
Prescribe a reason that is not true. He's afraid of the alt-right? That doesn't make sense. He had Richard Spencer on his fucking channel. He's plenty of alt-right people on his channel. That's a dumb thing to say, JF.
I didn't say that he was afraid of the alt-right. I don't know where you take that.
The problems that you two had came from you expressing alt-right concerns, and that's not true.
Yeah, the problems that we had came as a result of me defending our crowd, defending
before the that, and you know that.
No, I've been defending the base since the beginning. Me bringing intellectuals on from the alt-right is me defending the base.
You thinking you have the authority on someone else's channel has anything to do with the base of the alt-right in any way, shape, or form?
I never claimed authority. I don't know where that claim comes from.
You not only did you claim authority, exercise that authority, and you did it live, and it was recorded.
Oh yeah, I kicked Ralph. Well,
and said it was your show. No, it's not even just the kick. Action you had. When somebody says it's not your show, that you're not smart enough, you're not humble enough to sit there and be like, well, yeah, it's not my show, but, and give him one back.
I think it was hilarious.
So, I don't care what you think. It was dumb. And it's what started all of this. You can pretend it has something to do with Cantwell, but that's what kicked off.
I don't care if it started all of this. I don't care. I'm
something
happy
else
with
started
the
it,
result.
JF. Don't say something else started it. Don't try to put it on something else. Stop trying to pretend it's something other than you being a fucking idiot.
No. The problem is you seem to think that one thing has to have started it. There was an accumulation of things between me and Andy, most of them being due to my role in defending the alt-right. You just don't understand that many of my actions were driven by my desire to defend the fan base. But that's what it was.
Yeah, I was going to ask, I mean, I guess you kind of addressed it just there, but, I mean, I've said this, I don't, the kick, I was pissed when you kicked me, obviously, but some people were actually saying, well, that was the genesis. I don't know, I mean, it did kick it back off, so, I mean, that's fair, in a certain extent. It definitely started the whole argument back up, but do you think that was, I guess you already kind of said this, but do you think that, I guess it was all me talking shit to you on that stream that caused this, or were there issues that were going to come to the head regardless?
I think there were already people telling Andy that he was cocking to me even before I kicked you. So I think that this line of thought was already out there. Of course, we can say it was a contributor, we can say it added to the pile, but I think that all of the lines along the idea of Andy not controlling his show actually stem back in maybe more than a month ago when Sargon actually said on one of his shows that Andy doesn't control his show. It actually starts back to the Jay Dyer interaction where I said to Andy, shut the fuck up with your low IQ interventions.
Well, that doesn't sound like alt-right concerns. Again, this sounds like you're not respecting the guy who runs the channel.
Oh, well, that was me defending an intellectual version of the show for the fans who like to follow.
Version of someone else's show, JF.
Yeah. That was my job to
But you're
protect the fan
know
base that we had acquired.
Now let me ask you
Look at your
this.
name tag and see where it doesn't say manager.
Let me ask you
It doesn't
this.
say
Look at your name
anything
tag and you
beside
recognize
my
that?
name.
Let me ask you
But-
this, JF. Were you? Was that kind of tongue in cheek, or did you? I mean, was it? Because I've heard you say, you know, I was kind of joking, maybe half joking, half not. Was that kind of part of the show, or were you generally like, I'm in the middle of a debate? Could you please
No.
just shut the fuck up? Like, you
The
know, what I mean?
the low IQ and the shut the fuck up were per kayfabe bands.
Do you know what
However-
kayfabe means, JF? You know that kayfabe means the other guy is in on it because it's not real. You know that, right?
Okay. Well, it was kayfabe with an uninformed partner.
And it's not kayfabe. Stop using words you don't know what they mean, JF.
All right. Well, it was posturing. What is it that you said earlier? It was a joke.
It was a dumb guy pretending that he had more authority on a show than he did. That's what it was. That's what that's
That's
called.
nonsense. Now, to continue my explanation,
show?
I think that
Is it your show, Jam?
I think that most people have understood what I mean, which is that it was a performance. That being said, there was an essence of truth in there, which is that we were in an intellectual debate, and Andy was so unable to connect with the subject at hand that he was making masturbation joke. And they didn't fit at all in the context.
And it's his
even for
fucking
someone
house,
who-
am I right, JF? Too fucking bad. He's the captain and not you, right?
Yeah. And so as a counselor and as someone hired, I have interest in the success of this show at that moment. And so I say to my boss, in a funny way and in a way that leads itself to comedic and to mimetic extrapolations, I also wanted to message to him, hey, you might want to adjust your humor so that it fits within the context so that you don't seem that disconnected from your own show.
Pretty fucking disconnected from the show, eh? Well, I guess goal accomplished. Everybody wins.
I'm so happy with the events of the last few days. I'm happy. Goal accomplished for me at least.
Fair enough. I mean, I guess we could keep going on. Of course, I you know, I appreciate you coming on. I want to keep you all night or whatever. But
I'll throw this out there. Here's something irritating. I don't fucking hate you, JF.
Me
And I think you get fucked over a whole lot. I think people fuck with you. I think people misinterpret a million different situations. I think it's irritating as fuck when people bring up a lot of things about you. I think it's shitty that people want to try to go at you about shit that you know. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. They want to go at you about shit, but then they want to ignore a bunch of other shit just to be shitty.
Yeah.
Bothers the fuck out of me. Shouldn't be that way. That ain't how people should be about shit. That's why I never will, never can go at you about that. I'm at you about this because I think you're better. I think you're smarter. I think you're a lot fucking smarter in the way that you've been acting. I said the same thing to Andy. I think Andy's a lot fucking smarter in the way he's been acting. This ends up working out. You guys end up doing great. Good. Play out that way. And if it doesn't play out that way, I hate to break it to both of you, but you don't have anybody to blame but yourselves. Smarter than this. I said that you two should have had at least a year, 2, 3 year run out of this. At least.
Well,
A fucking short.
that's what I wanted initially, but the reality is, look at tonight's show with Emily Yukis. This is pure beauty. This is so much better for everyone. And so why continue walking through the swamp of Andy's mind? Why be retained by the slowness of this guy? I'm exploring. I feel like in heaven tonight.
Contradicts some things, but I'm not even worried about it. Fuck all that. Fuck all that. This is moving forward. Doing. Smartest way to look at it. Everything that happened with Baked Alaska a few weeks ago. He killed off his spot. Plenty of slots in the day where people aren't doing a fucking thing, and you two could play off of each other, and both of you end up fucking doing swell. Or you're gonna end up competing with each other, and all you're gonna do is stifle one another. That's all that's gonna happen.
by the way, Tonka, let me tell you this: if you you're getting clipped a lot by Discord because Discord does that sometimes. If you'll press your like little whatever settings wheel, and if you'll go to voice and video and drag the input mode, you see the little yellow bar or whatever. If you'll drag that all the way to the left, it'll stop clipping you as much. So I just want to say that because it does clip people. I had to just drag mine all the way to the left. That's why if you see the stream, my bar is always lit green because it picks up literally everything, but at least keeps me from being clipped. So if you'll do that, it won't clip you anymore. I just say it because I think a couple of your points, a couple of your comments kind of got subverted due to Discord audio. So if you want to go ahead and repeat what you said just now to him, that'd probably be good.
Really well. Everybody could end up winning. Everything could go much fucking better. With just the way that everything's split up, there's plenty of times in the fucking day you two could do things at two different times, or you could compete against each other. Whichever one everybody ends up trying to do. There's a way that this could play out really well.
That's a thought that I had, and I guess, you know, I don't know that Jeff has the answer to that right now, but that was a thought of mine. You know, when I watched you guys doing the dueling streams last night, I mean, do you plan to counter program Andy and you know, go head to head, you know, a la, to use a wrestling reference? Of course, I'm a wrestling fan. You use the kayfabe term, so you open the door here. Do you plan to go Monday Night Wars, you know, WCW versus WWF, you know, right against him? Or is there a chance you guys could maybe, if not get back together, maybe get together and say, I'm going to do this and on this date and this time? Maybe you can program yours a little later, or, you know, I'm going on Tuesday, you can go on Wednesday. What are your thoughts on that part of the deal?
It's a good question. I really don't like coordination of any kind, so I will not counter program, but I don't think I will like dedicate parts of the week for him and parts of the week for me. Fair. I don't think we will split the week. I think that sometimes our show will collide, sometimes they won't. It will depend on the day. As far as time slot of the day goes, we will collide. I will be doing stuff from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern time. So I think it's a good thing. Ultimately, I think that our fan bases are distinct enough that it's not going to be that much of a problem.
That was the other thing that I don't get about your fan bases. This isn't a shot at you or fucking Andy. This is at your fans. You have the Andy crowd that's, oh, fuck JF, we hate JF, get JF out of there. And then you have the JF fans that are like, low IQ Andy, we can't stand him. Why the fuck are they bitching? Didn't they just get what they wanted any fucking way?
Well, I think it's for the same reason that in a wrestling match there's people cheering.
They're emotionally invested, basically, is what you're saying.
Do you think it's the investment, that it's just the rah part of it? I guess so. I don't know.
I don't know, because I don't like TNA wrestling, whatever it's called now. But I don't go to a TNA show and go, boo, TNA, boo.
Well, some do it because we see it in the crowd. So that's human nature.
When you're sitting in a crowd, you're gonna rah whatever. It feels like they got what they wanted, so I don't know what they would be mad at you about, what they would be mad at Andy about. It's really weird. It's just really weird. People have pitted you two against each other, just as much as you two have pitted each other against each other.
Absolutely. There were lots of pressure on Andy from the very first day. Like, don't have an alt-righter on, or don't pander to Nazis. I mean, from the very first super chat saying Heil Hitler, there were people pressuring Andy.
No, I believe it. I've watched people pressure him. I watched that shit happen on YouTube, and again, push for him to keep you on the show. I've been, every time Andy brings this shit up, I'm like, you need to be talking to JF about this. I don't fucking care. Go talk to JF about it. And then when everybody keeps fucking pushing it, somebody has to end up saying something. Much like you said before, if somebody keeps asking you a question, you end up having to say something about it.
Mm-hmm.
What happens? I addressed what happened between you and Andy. And if you do go back and listen to any of it, you're going to have a hard fucking time finding any bit of it where I say you should be gone.
I never claimed that.
claim that. That's just what I'm saying now. You're gonna have a hard time finding that because it's not my stance. I think you both were acting dumb as hell.
I think we were acting genius, but that's a difference of opinion. But to continue on the question that Ralph asked me, and I never really got to center and left for the possibilities for a co-host for Andy. I don't know to what extent this has never been tried, to go full alt-right and then to try to go back to mainstream. To what extent will Andy be paying the price, and how long will he be paying the price of his association with the alt-right? It could repair itself tomorrow morning and leftists could come back to the show, or it might take a while. There might be people wanting to say, I don't want to platform anyone who's ever talked to the alt-right.
Yeah, that was actually, I'd seen that train of thought. I think the quartering and some other people had said, well, now he can tack, if not complete towards the middle, bring it back leftwards a little bit. But the counter to that is, like what you just said, that there's a lot of people who are not going to forgive that and don't want to be associated with that, or possibly don't want to be associated with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a fair point. I really don't know. I mean, I've given my own prescription. I think he should just stay where he is and look for somebody. I mean, you're your own unique person. It's not like you can get a JF clone, but somebody that represents that point of view. That would be my prescription, and to go as big as possible with the replacement. I threw out some people. Mike Enoch, obviously Mike Enoch's got his own things going on. Probably not going to do it, but somebody in that mold, you know what I mean? Somebody who really has their own footprint, their own major profile ready to bring in. That would be my prescription.
Someone of the size and intellectual talent of Jay Dyer and James Allsup could do that. Yeah,
James Allsup was another
there's
one
not
that I
much
mentioned.
people.
Yeah, that was a specific one that I mentioned too, James Allsup.
Yesterday.
Yeah. Somebody with their own, heft, that they could bring their own people in, and we've seen this in to continue with the wrestling analogy, but just in television. So if a big part of the program leaves, one of the ideas is to just go as big as possible, to try to, if not make people forget, to try to, create your own news. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Now, the problem with these two is how long will it take them to go at the level of Andy? To be able to bend, to be able to get interested in LA crack or stuff. I don't know if they can handle this. Maybe they can. And that would be beautiful to see. But I think there's going to be some sort of a learning curve for guys like this to be able to make the kind of humor, not necessarily copy my humor, but to make a kind of humor that will fit within the overall ecology of the show.
Well, yeah, and also, I mean, I think given the breakup, you would want somebody that has clearly, contractually defined roles, and who are willing to, I guess just basically take orders. You know what I mean? And that, but there is the other side of that, and that is, well, how subservient do you want them if they're completely, cucked, I guess, to use the term there. Is that going to make for the same type of show? So I guess it's a tightrope you gotta walk. I would suggest also you might want to try out in private, not necessarily try out on air.
Looking for in a co-host. What are the qualities you're shooting for?
If you're asking me, first off, like I said, you want something contractually defined. That would be a big thing.
I think that's a massive handicap with what JF and Andy were doing.
Yeah. I mean, you want it contractually defined, and you also, my big thing, somebody in the that represents the same audience, and somebody as popular as possible, I guess would be, my personal criteria. So yeah, and somebody that Andy can get along with personally, and communication's a big part of it too. So are they going to be able to communicate on a certain level? So I mean, yeah, if you're asking me, JF, I mean, if you want to expound upon that yourself.
Yeah, I don't have big theories of that. I think there's a magic almost, and it's so complex that you have to try it. There's so much stuff. It has to work at the personal, emotional level. It has to work in the flow. I mean, look at Emily Yukis, for example, who did Tonight on my channel. This girl would probably not be very good co-hosting Warski Live. But she's fucking amazing with me because I understand her autism and I can bounce some deep deadpan humor from her. And it was fucking hilarious to see this girl totally autistic looking at the camera and be like, I'm for women becoming property again. I've never heard that from a woman. It's freaking funny, but you have to have the rhythm to make it palatable.
Now let me ask you this: you pretty much took the, and it sounds like, as we said earlier, she's kind of the clubhouse leader to be your permanent co-host or your permanent right hand there. I mean, but you took the opposite view. So you know, my prescription for Andy was to, you know, get somebody like you, the kind of give and take, the different representing the different parts of the audience. I mean, her and you are obviously not the same person, but you kind of represent the same base, right? So, what was your thought process behind that? I mean, did you ever think? I know some of the other people you mentioned were Nick Fuentes. I forgot the other one.
Nick Fuentes, Luke Ford.
Yeah, Luke Ford, I guess, would probably be the most out of the box thought there.
Yeah.
But for the for Nick Fuentes and Emily, they they're more of representing the same demographic. So I guess just your thought process behind that.
I have no thought process. The audience tells me they love her. They feel something about this girl, and I can feel exactly the same thing. She's just a lovable person. That's a first very good criteria. I didn't even know as she was coming on the show what were her political views or anything. So it's not like I've strategically planned this, but I heard my base audience. They told me we love Emily Yukis, and again they were right. And most of the time when you follow a large chunk of your audience, not a single guy, but when you have 50 guys coming to you and you know that they are audience of you since a year or 2 years, of course you need to listen to them. That was my thought. Now that I see her position, which is extremely far right, as far right as I've ever seen, I think.
Yeah, she's very far right. Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt there. Yeah.
So it's good. It's because then I'm a centrist on my show. Then I'm the ND of my show.
They pushed the Overton window, basically. Yeah, for the show.
Yeah. And I knew that was a possible outcome. That I might find someone just so much more extreme than me that people on my chat now call me a cock, which is fun. It's fun to be there, and I'm willing to play that role.
What do you think?
Jeff, you need to fire her.
You're gonna have a little more hard time convincing me than Andy.
Already.
That was a good line. Tonka, what are your thoughts? I guess as we start to wind it down here. What are your thoughts on what Andy should do with his co-host, and I guess what Jeff's doing with his to just totally go full meta here. I don't know if you even care, but I'll figure it out.
We're not hyper invested on that. It's just I don't even know if they should have co-hosts. He has talk to the chat and then have a debate come in or whatever. That could be
that's fair. That's
same thing with Andy. Like he could just talk to the chat, bring in people to do whatever. These could be winning formulas.
Yeah, I actually didn't even think about that. Yeah. I liked, what Andy did last night. He just started bringing people in. He was going back and forth with the chat. I mean, that's definitely possible too. So, yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe again, hope both shows do stupendous. All right, and everybody fucking ends up winning. I just don't think everybody's gonna end up winning. Let's fuck. That's been my whole point.
What do you think would happen?
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you had to make a prediction, what do you think will happen?
Well, like as it stands now, moving forward.
Yeah. By the way, you got clipped a little bit there. I think if you were talking.
Well, going forward, I would I don't know. I just think both guys are gonna. They do their shows. They build their audiences. Next few months, you and Andy will end up talking. Whether or not you end up doing a show or whatever together, I don't know. But I think you'll end up talking. You'll end up being all right with each other. Probably a guest spot on each other's show within the soon, some shit like that.
I think we're all right. There's no communication between me and him, but I think we feel each other being all right. That's at least the way I imagine Andy, and that's how I am. I think that we are all right now.
All right. Failure had already said it way earlier. I thought about the idea earlier that you two just do your fucking shows and like once a month, once every few weeks, once a week, whatever the fuck you end up wanting to do. You like get together, you put a show together, and it doesn't have to end up going that way to be a positive thing. That was just an idea that was thrown out earlier. I don't think it's a terrible plan, but again, just everybody's going. Then yeah, focus on your channels. Focus on what you're doing. Everybody focus on what the fuck they're doing. Work on what they're doing. Make what they're doing good. Don't sabotage yourself. Nobody sabotaged themselves, for fuck's sake. No more baked Alaskas for the love of fuck. Alaska.
I mean, I will
Hey
say,
guys, if we could just
go ahead.
take a moment for prayer.
Do some baptisms here. But yeah, I mean, I guess if either of you have any, final thoughts, I'm pretty much out of questions, to be honest with you, and out of things to extrapolate upon. So,
I could ask them what do they think about the Mundane Matt situation regarding cognitive thought, his channel.
yeah, it's
Monday Matt being goofy. He's wanting to pretend that he didn't take that stream down the night that it fucking happened, and Ralph didn't have to force his hand to put that shit back up.
Yeah, and I actually went on his show, and I was kind of con to him, to be honest. Like, I understand what he was saying. I mean, technically, I don't really think it was fair use, but he could have just sent a message easily. And the reason Cog had uploaded in the first place, I think part of it was he had hidden the stream for a good, hour or two, so it wasn't even 100% sure it was coming back up. So but he said that was a technical error, and I'm being charitable, and I'm going to take him at his word. And he also apologized for to use a term that we talked about, for defaming my wife, and I accepted that as well. So he said he didn't remember doing that. He didn't remember talking about my wife, which I do find a little hard to believe. But if you have a man right there, I won't say face to face, because we weren't, but we were on air together, and he's profusely apologizing. I could have told him to suck my dick, but I just accepted it. So that is what it is. I don't know, JF, if you saw the whole Monday Matt DMCA situation or not.
No, I'm not aware of the details. I will say these clipping channels, they must ask permission, because that's what DMCAs are. I personally give permissions. Anyone who's a clipper, go ahead and clip my shows. Yeah. But it's sad, but some people, like Mundane Matt, they don't want this to happen, and it's understandable. Not understandable, I don't understand, but I can respect their legitimate claim on their content.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely his content at the end of the day. Yeah, I would agree with that. Me personally, anybody that's ever asked me, I give the permission to, because I think it's it just gets your clips out there more, gets your show out there more. I think it's just a net benefit. I know Tonka and Failure pretty much feel the same way too. So yeah,
just do business.
Yeah, it's just good.
Just do fucking business.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is something that I've been wondering about. Do you pay bills with this?
Yeah.
Don't go too far into. I'm not trying to get too informative, but this is what you pay bills with.
It's not needed in my life, but it's a big chunk of it. It's most of my salary comes from YouTube at this point.
That's what really bothered me about how you two were going about things. You're putting food on the table with this. He's putting food on the table with this, and nobody can be fucked to sit down before it blows up. That's my.
Well, let me give you some context, and I'm sure you will change your mind. What if I told you that this month, for example, I got a 2 times bigger check from my own channel than from Warski Live, and yet I was spending
that's
more
good.
time working on Warski Live.
Well, that's good. I'm not mad at that.
So
When you're doing
this
things in
allows you to
business, I would sit
understand
down
that
and
I
talk
cared
about it.
less. I cared less about my employment at Warski Live than working on my channel because I just make more money there.
Month.
What?
You said that kicked up this month.
No, I'm saying to give you an example from this month, but it's been on a continued increasing slope. So
You've been making more over on your channel than you have on Warski anyway.
Yep.
Okay. So you're making more over on your channel than you are over on Warski.
Yeah.
Necessarily even need the money.
I didn't need Warski anymore. One could argue I never needed Warski, but from a monetary perspective, at the beginning, it was really a good paycheck for me. At this point, it is an acceptable paycheck.
Why were you fighting him so much when he wanted to go off and do some goofy shit like the Purple Dragon stuff or the Warski Room if it wasn't about the money?
It was about the creative participation to his own show. I was very broken to see that he was abandoning mentally his own show. He was working on other projects and spending time on other projects, and he was reducing the amount of effort on the show. And to me, what Warski Live could have been, and it's been that, but up and down, but it could really have been something absolutely fantastic and unique. I think that we got to the point of very good, but not fantastic and unique, and not like a 2-year or 3-year story of the internet. We were there, but it crashed before we really got there.
Wouldn't crash. I think you two had like a year, maybe 2-3 years for real. Like I think you had that long of a shelf life where you could have been able to do this shit.
Yep, definitely.
Fine with being wrong on it, but I think you guys had a good run still in you, and it got compromised.
Yep.
I think it's because you guys wouldn't talk about this shit. You're saying, well, you started doing good on your own, so why would you bother talking about it?
Partly, yes. Why would I invest on the platform of someone else if my livelihood doesn't fully depend on it, and if other options are better for me in the long term?
See, that's fine. Again, if you're working just through business. Says this stuff's kind of emotional, and that makes it end up sounding pretty much like you just kind of needed a check. You were doing some shit for some shekels.
Well, that is true. I got employed first at Warski Live, and I was very happy to get the check. But yeah, and now I do not need that.
You don't think there's a little bit of maybe having enough respect for the guy who was signing off those checks to you to maybe come to him and talk to him about this? Just be like, hey, look, my channel's doing fine. I don't need this.
Oh, well, I could have showcase. Done. Well, it could have gone that way if Andy was that type of guy. But with Andy, we've always been solving stuff on the public space because he attacked my guests and my audience on the public space. So I have to defend them on the public space, or else they won't know that I stand for them.
Forbid that everybody doesn't know that you're constantly taking up for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of my public involvement and part of the safety, part of the way I back my own ass is by doing it on the public space when they are attacked on the public space. If my reputation is at odds, not the army, but for example, the guest and the nobility in front of the guest. Andy has insulted my reputation by canceling guests and by mistreating guests. And so if I don't do a public case out of it, then I'm a cuck.
You're a cuck for doing... Where you go? Here's the thing. You were talking about kayfabe earlier. You worked yourself into a shoot. You ever heard that one? I doubt you have. That's another one. That's goofy wrestling thing. You've heard that one probably, bro?
Yes, of course.
I didn't.
Pillman
Wow, you into thinking something.
Yeah.
The crowd says something and you feel like you have to jump up and do or say whatever the crowd wants.
It's not what
You're in the ring.
crowd
You're the one
wants.
taking them on a ride. On the ride,
Yeah.
man. Not them. They're not taking you on a ride. You take them on a ride.
Yeah,
And I
I'm
think
not
that's where
saying to you
everybody's
that
fucking
I'm
up.
listening. I'm not telling you that I'm listening to the audience. I'm saying I will protect my reputation toward the audience. And part of my reputation relies on fair representation. And if Cantwell was unfairly represented, I must stand on the public space to defend him. You know what I want? I want someone to come on my show in 2 years and say, you know what? JF, he backs up a guy who was a Nazi and a criminal and someone who was in judicial trouble, but he backed it. He backed this guy just because he was misrepresented by Andy. And so I feel safe on JF's channel because I know that this guy will always stand for what I truly said. That's defending my reputation. It's not listening to the crowds. It's not pandering to the crowds. It's protecting the perception of the crowds that every
And,
time
no, you
I
don't
will
have to
stand by the
protect
guest.
That's dumb. That's covering your ass, and you know that.
Oh, well, covering your ass is not dumb. Covering your ass
Your
is what
ass
you're going to
for
need to do to
shekels.
survive.
When you need shekels is not dumb, you're right. But it's transparent.
It is transparent. Everything I do is public.
Okay.
There's no secret with me.
Oh, I wouldn't agree with that. I'll give you it.
By the way, I see a comment. I shouldn't even be reading where I'm seeing this comment, but I actually did. And they said that basically intimating that I pulled an ambush on JF here and had Tonka and Failure on and ambushed him. That nothing could be further from the truth. Would you agree with that, JF? I specifically asked you before I brought these.
Yeah. There was no ambush. I was very happy to talk to all of you. And you asked turn by turn if I
Yes.
wanted both of them here.
Yes, I wanted to
And
make
didn't I
sure.
refuse to come on if he didn't want me on? when I sent you the thing, I said I don't even want to come on. if you
No,
didn't
no,
want
he
me on.
did. Like, yes, you actually did. And I said, no, I want to ask him. And Jeff was man enough, cordial enough to
that's cool.
say, yeah. I mean, like, I give him all the credit. Like, if he would have said no, I wasn't gonna bring you in. To be honest, I wasn't. It wasn't about ambush. And to his credit, like I said, more than willing to have both you guys on. So I just thought I'd point that out to a few people that said this was all about ambush. I didn't know Jeff was coming on, and I'm glad he did. But even so, after he did, I was perfectly fine with just talking to him about his new show, maybe asking him a few questions about the breakup and stuff. But
I still don't. I don't have shit against JF. I think what he and Andy did was foolish. That's all.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. That's a take. I mean, I've had my own opinions too. I just think the communication was lacking. If communication had been better, you guys probably still be together. Yeah, I just thought I'd point that out. It was not about an ambush. JF specifically said it was good to do this, and I mean, you guys have been kind of talking for a while, in your own respective corners without talking to each other too. So I thought it was a good thing in general. So
Absolutely, I really enjoyed, and now I'm gonna go.
yeah,
to sleep.
I was about to say it's getting late for me even. So JF, thank you, sir, for joining me, dude. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And one more thing. Good luck on your new adventure in life, man.
Yeah, good luck.
Absolutely, and you guys
Thanks for
too.
joining us, Jeff.
Yes.
Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Well,
It was
we had
that
quite the
was,
show.
yeah. It was nice of him to join us. I didn't think he was going to do.
I didn't
do in the
expect it.
beginning.
Yeah, but,
That was that was surprising to me. But yeah, that's good.
I mean, we'd seen him watching the show and in the chat commenting at least 2 or 3 times over the last week. So he does watch the Killstream. We know that, but I didn't really expect him to jump on. So
Everyone should watch a kill stream. Let's be honest.
yeah, I agree with that. You should watch the Killstream. You should click the ads and all that. I couldn't agree more. Failure. We'll ask Tonka here in a second too. But Failure, you got any final thoughts? It was more of JF, kind of talking to Tonka there. So Just any thoughts on your own about what we just went through, or just this situation in general?
Not really. It was good to clarify the part of me saying, him getting fired on that he understands that was a fucking joke.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of things were clarified, even if, wasn't 100% agreement on every single point. I just thought it was good to have you guys talk, and I kind of mostly just hung back. I did read that comment. That comment, whoever wrote that, bonus points, I'll say it did get me worked up a little bit, because I specifically asked JF, if he was willing to have you guys on. It wasn't, I wasn't going to ambush him or anything like that whatsoever. So I know people call me a drama.
People have been wanting us to talk to each other forever.
Yeah, exactly. And I know people, Ralph's a drama fag, whatever. I mean, I do discuss the drama a fair amount, and I don't apologize for that, but it was not an ambush at all. So, Tonka, sir, any closing thoughts from you?
Two.
So
Andy or JF. I don't hate these two. Andy, JF, neither one of them. I think they were fucking dumb.
Yeah, I definitely think
they're fucking dumb.
I'll soften it a little bit on mine. I just think things could have worked out better. Just the communication, had it been there, they'd still be going. And I think you mentioned this. I think the run should have lasted a lot longer. It was almost one of these Kobe and Shaq situations. Although their run did last a lot longer, but it should have had another couple, 2 or 3 years tacked on the end. And the interpersonal drama, the interpersonal relationship, and the lack thereof kind of brought that to a premature end. And
them being dumb is a bigger problem. Maybe I didn't mention this enough. The humility, like fucking just be smart enough to be humble when it's time to be humble.
Yeah.
The tears and be like, well, no, the happy tears. These are happy tears. I'll get your fucking tears out of blood sports, motherfucker. And then fucking, you have, on the other hand, just all these goofy emotional things. I was doing this because I had to take up for the chat. Okay, then take up for the chat. What the fuck? Go take up for the chat. Employer is going to give you their piece of their mind too. That's just dumb. They're smarter than this. That's what irritates the fuck out of me.
Savages in my town in chat said Kobe and Shaq both ended up winning rings separately, for the record, and that is absolutely true. Matter of fact, that was a great comment.
Yeah. I think it's more of a Randy Moss, Tom Brady thing in the Patriots.
Well.
If they stayed together,
you're putting the negative spin
if they that year they were together, man, it was ridiculous.
True. It was undefeated, and then they lost the big game.
The Super Bowl. But if they stayed together, they would have won a couple rings.
Yeah, but that was the optimistic comment of the stream. I gotta say, exactly. They both ended up winning rings separately. I mean, we'll see what happens. I like that. Me personally, and I've said this, the same thing Tonka said. I like their give and take, and I think they were good together too. So.
Yeah, I said the same
off of each other like a fucking old comedy team.
Yeah, exactly.
They had a good fucking role.
Yeah, it had. I think didn't you compare them to Laurel and Hardy earlier? By the way,
yeah, he did.
100,000 bonus points for referencing Laurel and Hardy. And as soon as I saw that on Twitter, I said, if you have not seen The Piano, which is the Laurel and Hardy classic, you need to fucking go watch that right now, because that's probably
I haven't seen it.
Oh
actually.
My god! I think it's in the public domain. I think you can watch it anytime you want. Oh man, it's great. The Piano, Laurel and Hardy. I love Laurel and Hardy. I was raised on Laurel and Hardy, so great stuff. But yeah, it did have that. That feel to it, like an old school comedy team, or even and I'm not saying this to make fun of either, but like an old school husband and wife comedy team. You know what I mean? Like the nagging and the bickering back and forth with
odd couple element to it.
Yeah, exactly. That it kind of had that feel, and I genuinely enjoyed it. So yeah, and I will say this, I already did. Bonus points for JF for coming on here. I think we.
No, that was cool.
Yeah.
Look, even if I'm fucking talking to him and he hears nothing but Portuguese, because he's talking about kayfabe, he doesn't even know what it means.
I didn't expect him to use
because
that
I'm
term.
happy.
I didn't expect him to use the kayfabe term. I'll give you that. Yeah.
I wish he wouldn't have.
He did say that he doesn't know in the beginning with the French and English. So sometimes he has to look up words. So
And
maybe
there's another massive disconnect here. That's not even his fault.
it's not. It's
Does
not.
anybody know? Just regularly, just know some French Canadians. in
I
here?
don't. No, I don't.
I've been to
I mean,
Montreal a couple times, but no, I can't say.
I'm from Memphis,
you.
and I've always lived in the South, so no, I don't know any French Canadians besides JF. Like, that'd
All
be
right,
the only-
Zidane, for real. How many times are you talking to French Canadians and they're trying to tell a joke? Because they're just weird people.
Yeah, I mean, the times I was in Montreal, half of them when I was asking for directions wouldn't give me directions because they would just speak in French, but I knew they were speaking English because it's like a double language. It was weird. I mean, I don't know. French Canadians to me are a little weird. I think that's just how they are naturally, to be honest.
Well, they're definitely fucking. They're just weird. Their comedy's weird. What they think is funny is
It's a different
weird.
It's a different culture. It's a cultural
and
thing.
We talked about this before you came on, and I think he did kind of like concede when I asked a couple of these questions. Like, for the first question was the title of the stream. Like, you could have used another word other than defamation.
Yeah.
Perhaps if you just said misrepresented or just said Andy was wrong about Cantwell.
Yeah, that word.
That would
was brutal.
have, to me, that would have softened the blow a little bit, rather than Andy defamed.
When it comes
Cantwell.
on the show, just be like, "Hey, Andy, I think you were
I think
wrong
you're
about
wrong here." Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just think you were wrong.
He was really heavy-handed
not that you
with that.
defamed him, and I spoke about this on other streams and on this stream. It was when you use defamatory defamation. I mean, it is its own word, but it has a legal context. So when people hear that, they take it to that level.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just said, "Hey, I think Andy's wrong," I think that would have maybe changed the whole history of this.
Yeah, because if you didn't even watch the video, you just scroll through it and you see that as a title, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah,
You know?
well, that's what I said. Like, I saw the title, I was like, "Oh wow, like what the fuck? How is this even?"
A lot
happening?
of people did the
Yeah,
same
and then I
thing.
watched the show, and he was hard on him in a lot of cases, but it wasn't it wasn't quite as hard as that title would lead you to believe. So yeah, I think that was probably a big part of it.
I've always I found French Canadian they're harder to read than normal people just because like they have deadpan humor as fuck. Their accents, just everything is just it's different.
Yep.
Humor comes off different. The way they speak comes off different. Everything goes different.
It's like American and British humor is different,
As big as
it's
the
a cultural
difference
thing.
between American and British humor,
I think it's bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is bigger, but it's a cultural
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
quadruple that shit for French Canadian to American.
No, but in all honesty, I think both of them are going to be fine. It's a little bit, crazy right now because it just happened, but I think Andy's going to be fine. He's going to get a co-host, or he's not going to get a co-host, and he'll do fine. And JF is going to be fine. I don't understand
He's
why.
gonna be fine. My thing was, will they be able to be successful over this? Will it flourish? Is
in
it what
time,
was best?
in time, I think there's going to be a little bit a rocky road for Andy because he went to the more right side, and he I don't know if he's going to stay on that side or try to move back to the middle. So he's going to figure out a little bit more. But I think JF is good where he is. He's just going to keep doing what he was doing. And
All right, here's the thing with JF. JF's got a easier road here.
yeah, that's what.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do.
That's the
Yeah.
JF.
He's
got
good
nothing
already.
up to look at.
Yeah, he's good right now. He doesn't need to do anything. He just does what he does, and he's good to go. And
Will he
that's his
top
road.
out?
Well, I mean, everybody tops out. There's always a plateau, and then you go from there, and you have to figure out what you want to do.
Think
but
he's
right-
fixing to top out. Do you think it's like? Do you think he's reached close to what his ceiling would be? I don't think he's
No,
reached what his ceiling.
no,
would be.
no, not now. Not yet.
There is a ceiling though.
Everyone has a
there's
ceiling.
a
Yeah, I was gonna
before you.
say there's ceiling for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what is it? I don't know. I just agree with the point that Andy's in a more thoughtful position. Like he has more work to do. More thought to put into this.
But can he do it? Of course. I have faith
Well,
in
and that
Andy.
was one of the things. Like and I told him this last night, I believe, and if not, I definitely said it before he came on. Like, I mean, he's stepping out there by doing this. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I got to give credit to that too. If it was just all about the money, he would have just kept doing what he's doing. So I do think. What do you think about this, Tonka? I didn't realize this. I think that might have been a revelatory statement, so to speak. That JF said, he's been making more money off his channel, period, every month. So that kind of, put some things into perspective for him to where he didn't care as much about the Warski gig. Do you think that? I mean, I guess just what do you think about that?
I don't know if that's something that's necessarily good, but like that's what I told him. It's just that just makes it look like you.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Jackals.
Fair enough.
Oh, with that, I mean, if you're up front with that and that's what you're doing, that's
I mean,
fine.
he flat out said it. He's
You
like,
can't
well,
tell people if there's anything else you were doing.
I mean, I guess that could liberate you somewhat, though. It's like, well, I'm making more money on my own anyway, so whatever. Yeah, I mean, I did see some comments to that effect too. It's like, whoa, is it all about the shekels? I don't know. I mean, we all like to get paid, though, so I'll put it that way. But
I mean, yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a really thoughtful episode that we had here. And a lot of good give and takes. So
yeah,
I'm very glad it happened. I want to thank you in particular, Tonka. I thank JF and thank you, Failure, for coming on, because I think, like you said, Tonka, a lot of people have been wanting to see this conversation between you guys for a while. So it finally happened.
That was the main thing. Just want to knock it the fuck out and get it done and over.
Yeah, and just move past it. I agree with that completely.
Just bury this over this Friday. Don't worry about it.
I was about
Monday,
to say,
Tuesday,
no
Monday.
better day than to do it here on a Friday too, and just start the next week out fresh. I really don't see any, more point and going. Not that we won't keep up with what Andy and JF are doing, but in terms of the, the meta conversation and the, emotional connection stuff and the breakdown. I mean, it's pretty much over now, right? So, we've delved into it too.
Hold on. You say it's pretty much. They're going to be around.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but
this is going to end up being a thing.
I'll say this: I thought it was like on the Kumite today. I guess I could ask you about this too. It seemed like Andy was almost open to like working together again, right? Or did I misread that? I didn't see the whole episode, but I heard that part. And I was like,
I think there was a tweet or a quote where he said, that he wouldn't
it
be
definitely
opposed to
seemed
working
more
once a
open
month or
from
something.
his perspective today
Right?
than it did last night, right? Or
I think,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know.
I wish both of them luck. I wish both of them would have been smarter than to do what they did. JF says he's doing good still. Andy's doing good. All right, good. Everybody's doing good still. Rock and roll.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's all about.
And they were better together than they may be separate. I don't know how they'll be separate, but I think I'm assuming they're better together because that's what I had seen, and going to miss that show.
I agree with that. I will absolutely coast on that. Gentlemen, do you have anything to say, Tonka and Failure, before I read these super chats, which I am going to do?
No, I'm good.
All right. Are you guys going to be streaming in this weekend, or are you just going to be back on Monday with the Kumite?
God, Failure does streaming, like secretly retired. I'm just on his channel.
So what do you say, Phil? Are you gonna be doing something this weekend, or is it back on Monday?
Monday.
All right. Well, you said that last weekend, and then you did the Kilroy thing.
That's true.
We don't have a Kilroy this weekend though, so
Thank God.
Oh God.
Dude, attendances for fucking Kilroy, those records are broken every time somebody walks into a gas station. What are you talking about? The corner of every road.
Oh man. Yeah. All right. Well, I know for one thing we're not going to be back till Monday night at 11 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, that's when you can see us again. I'm gonna read through these super chats. If you guys want to stay for that, probably not. That's why I was gonna go ahead and let you guys go. But I want to thank you a lot for coming on, though.
Oh, welcome.
Thanks, guys. It was great having you.
Bottom of my heart.
Very good. I'll talk to you gentlemen soon. Thank you very much again.